The 5 biggest political turning points during Trump's first year as president. 2017 was an astonishing, bizarre, and often troubling year in American politics. It was a year filled with tumult, from the rocky start to the 5 biggest political turning points during Trump's first year as president. Trump's administration, to the major legislative battles in Congress, to protests across the country, to the unfolding investigations into Trump and his associates. So it's worth looking back with at least a bit of hindsight and pulling out the biggest moments. Those in which the political status quo really appeared to shift in a major way. This year has of course been so jam-packed with news that I've left out many important events, particularly when the ultimate consequences aren't yet clear. For one, tensions with North Korea continue to rise, and they could eventually prove to be the most important story of all. For another, Democrats' electoral victories in Virginia and Alabama could be harbingers of a 2018 romp, or they could be flukes. Number 1, the Women's March was the first dramatic demonstration that the energy in American politics had shifted to the left. An estimated 4 million or so people turned out in more than 600 cities across the US to signal the support of women's rights and a broad array of other progressive concerns, and, perhaps most of all, disgust at the election of Trump, who'd been accused of sexual harassment, and was expected to support the GOP's agenda. Number 2, the Muslim ban, shaped by Trump's most staunchly anti-immigration advisors with hardly any consultation from the agencies that blocked everyone from 7 predominantly Muslim countries from entering the US for 90 days. It banned all refugee admissions for 120 days and all Syrian refugee admissions indefinitely. Number 3, conservatives ensured the Supreme Court will stay in the hands. When Justice Antonin Scalia died during the final year of Barack Obama's presidency, it opened up a monumentally important seat that could tip the balance of the Supreme Court toward liberals for the first time in more than a generation. Tea Majority Leader Mitch McConnell took a risk, audaciously announcing that it refused to even consider any Obama nominee for the seat, because the winner of the 2016 presidential election should get to fill it. As a conservative replacing a conservative, he simply restored the court's status quo from before Scalia's death. Number 4, Trump fired James Comey, and it backfired spectacularly, because it got him Robert Mueller. What exactly happened between Donald Trump's campaign and Russia during the 2016 election? Federal investigators began looking into the matter last year, ominous store. IEs began leaking into the press in January, Attorney General Jeff Sessions recused himself from oversight of the case in early March, and then FBI Director James Comey publicly confirmed that the true MP campaign was a focus of the investigation later that month. The news, breaking late on a Tuesday afternoon, was a bombshell. A sudden presidential firing of a sitting FBI director was a shocking breach of American political norms, especially because Trump had already asked Comey to stay on in the job. Number 5, Obamacare repeal got a thumbs down from John McCain. Since President Barack Obama's signed the Affordable Care Act into law back in March 2010, Republicans have sworn that they'd do everything they could to repeal it. And with the victories in the 2016 election, they finally had hands to make good on the campaign promises. Paul Ryan, Mitch McConnell, and Donald Trump all agreed that Obamacare repeal should be the first major item on the GOP's legislative agenda in 2017. So long as Republicans hold power in Washington, Obamacare will never be entirely safe. The Trump administration can undermine the law administratively in many ways.